Everybody, welcome back to Premium Picks. Today we are going to give you the best bets for UFC 301 Pantoja versus Erceg. Like always, please subscribe, and let's get into the best bets for this card. First fight of the night, we got Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. Costa's coming in at minus 150, Borjas plus 125. This is a fairly even matchup. I think it's going to be contested mostly on the feet. You probably got the volume of Borges maybe versus the power of Costa. Very even matchup. I like all of the overs here. I could see an upset. I could see either guy winning. I like over 1.5 coming in at like minus 230. I know it's not as good as picking a winner, but I think it feels very, very safe to me because I could see either guy winning. So I wouldn't have true confidence picking a winner on this fight. What do you think?
I like fight goes the distance, to be honest with you. It's at minus 105. Board Costa probably wins via power and better shots, but Borges has the volume. It's closely contested, and well, Borges has never been finished. So I mean, if you're gonna go fight that goes the distance minus 105, you might as well stab both decision props, which are over 200 plus 200, because Costa plus 225 and Borges plus 375. So I'll probably do my patented $20 on the fight goes the distance and then 15 each on the decision, and I come out a winner. Two out of three bets win if this goes to the decision. So I like doing that with lines that are closely lined to go to the decision that I think actually will go the whole way.
I agree. I think it probably goes the cards as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We've got Ishmael Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. Bonfim is now a minus 500 favorite, Pichel plus 380. I do believe Bonfim wins the fight, but I do not think he's going to look like a minus 500 finisher. Like, I don't think he's going to steamroll him and finish him very quickly. So this is another one where I like over 1.5, and it's coming back at minus 220. You're going from a minus 500 favorite to minus 220, a round and a half. I don't think Pickel's going to get finished in the first round and a half. So I like that spot here personally. What do you think?
Pichel's a tough son of a bitch, so he doesn't usually get knocked out. Usually gets out grinded and stuff like that. So my spot is Bonfim sub slash decision double chance at minus 125. I think those are his ways to victory. And yeah, that's it. I just don't see Pichel getting knocked out by Bonfim. That's it. I could see a sub of some sort, and I could see a decision. Definitely see a decision control for most of the fight as well. So the over 1.5 for sure too. I like that too as well. But minus 125 is not too bad.
All right, moving on to the women's fight. We've got Dion Barbosa versus Ernesta Kareckaite. Barbosa minus 250, Kareckaite plus 200. This is a very green, low-level women's MMA fight. We got a grappler versus a striker. If Barbosa can take her down, she's going to win the fight. If she can't, she's going to be outstruck by Ernesta. No confidence here. I don't even like anything. Even the overs are juiced. They're like minus 380 or something like that for a over 1.5, which I think it probably goes over 1.5. So I don't really have any strong picks on this fight. I would love to see the striker upset Barbosa, but she probably does get taken down and probably gets grinded out. But it's dog pass or just straight up pass for me personally. Sorry, you got something to say there? Oh, sorry, my daughter's here. She wants to say hi for one. Hey, my daughter's never been on YouTube. She wants to say hi really quickly. What do you think of this women's fight?
Um, I think I could beat them both easily.
You could beat them both easily. All right, here we go. She's the winner. Yeah, it's dog or pass for me. I don't really like anything. What do you think?
I think it's a pass, but I rewatched some tape and what's her name? Ernesta. Yeah. She did have a really good volume fight with her counterpart on Dana White Contender Series. But that girl is no good. She left her in the fight, and she should actually have finished that fight, to be honest with you. And Barbosa, once she got that fight in her Dana White Contender Series to the ground, she fought for submissions the whole time. She went for it, and so there's a pass for me. But if I'm gonna play something, I like the Barbosa sub at plus 220. I also like the round one finish at plus 450. I like the if Barbosa wins, I feel like it's gonna be some sort of under, to be honest with you. Once she gets her down to the ground, Ernesta doesn't look so. She looks like a fish out of water, to be honest with you. So, Yeah, man.
Her get-up game is terrible.
Right. So I think if she gets her to the ground, I think she subs her. I honestly think she subs her. And she goes for the subs. It's not this like we'll talk about Lucindo later. Like it's she goes for it, right? So I think if Ernesta gets taken down, she might just be one. Like that's all. I mean, that's the way I look at this fight. So
Right. I hope so because at least the first few fights are all going to be over, so it'd be nice to get a finish there.
I think this is like the upset finish sort of thing that you don't think is gonna happen. Sort of, I go in my crystal ball and I see it. I can see it happening just because of the disparity of the grappler versus the striker.
All right. Moving on, we have got Mauricio Ruffy versus Jamie Mullarkey. Ruffy or Ruffy, however you pronounce it, is coming in at minus 200. Jamie Mullarkey plus 170. Uh, as I said in the previous video, I always bet against Mullarkey. If I've won a lot of money betting against Mullarkey. The only thing I have here is even though I think Ruffy or Ruffy can knock him out, it's only coming back at minus 105. So you're not getting a lot of juice on that knockout play. You're only getting 100 points, not even 100 points on it. So I don't love the odds on the knockout, even though I think that's what's going to happen. My pick is that he's going to knock out Jamie Mullarkey. I just don't love the value on that. What do you think?
That's all I have written down. Roofie KO minus 105. I I don't know. I'm gonna probably pass this fight. If I make something in the first few, I might throw like a little small bet down on the Roofie fight here. But I think he's gonna sleep him. Yeah. But I don't have much to say about this fight.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, moving on. We got Joaquim Silva plus 150 versus Drakkar Klose one minus 175. Looking through the different props here, there's nothing that stands out. Like honestly, I like Klose at minus 175. Like there's nothing I love. I think Klose over 1.5 is probably likely. Like maybe decision, maybe a late fit. Like I think the over 1.5 is good. I don't think it's gonna be a quick finish. Um, but just the odds aren't fantastic on anything. So I think his money line is already about as good as I'm gonna get. What do you think?
I like close to win the fight a lot, like you, minus 175, like one of my better picks of the one of the better leans, sorry, of the card. For some reason I'm seeing the under, the minus 145. I don't know what it is about the under that's just coming after me. Maybe it is Joaquin Silva and the way he gasses. Maybe it's the way that Close has been fighting lately. He's been going for it. I know he knocked out Joe Selecki with the slam. Rafa Garcia is a tough son of a bitch. He's a Mexican, right? So those guys don't really get knocked out or finished anyway. So and Close went for remember the Beanie DeRouche fight? He went for a firefight. So could see that happening here as well. He won't sub Silva, I don't think so, but the knockout is quite live at plus 400. Uh, that's all. That's about where I stand on that fight.
Yep, that sounds right. All right, moving on. We got Elves Brenner plus 200 versus Midibek Orolbai minus 250. The odds are too wide for me. I get it. Orolbai can probably power wrestle him and beat him up on the ground and possibly maybe finish the guy, but he's pretty fucking tough. From what we've seen, Brenner's very tough. And he's one of these shoot box guys who's very aggressive. He does have a good guard. He does have a good ground game. He has a good chin. He throws volume. Like he's a dog that's gonna fight for your money. So like for me, like I get the dog play here. I do. So for me, it would be dog or pass. I don't think he necessarily wins, but the value is there to make the dog play or pass. I don't like the favorites odds here. What do you think?
Well, I was like good on Orolbai earlier this week, but then I took a look at it and Brenner, his takedown defense is quite good actually, and his get up game is quite good, and he's never been finished. Never been finished. So I mean Orolbai by decision, if you're gonna go that way, is one way. Um but the entire fight in general, I'm not too hyped on it anyway, but there is one spot that I saw. I saw that Orleby sort of gets kind of tired as the fight goes on, and Els Brenner by knockout is plus 1200. So I mean, fuck, man, that is some juicy odds for a guy that you think is gonna fight for your money. I'm not betting Orleby or putting him on too many parlays, if anything, but plus 1200 as a little single, that's not too bad. No, I don't think so.
All right. Moving on, we got Carolina Kowalkeiwicz plus 300 versus Eisman Lucindo minus 400. This is, again, probably looks like striker versus grappler. Carolina is on a heater. She's more of a point fighter. If she wins, it's most likely by decision or some kind of over. And if she loses, it's because she's going to get taken down and beat up on the ground or possibly even finished on the ground. Uh, I don't know why. Like, Lucindo should win the fight. She's younger, got all the things going for her, but something is just tempting me to pick Carolina and the over, like just by decision or something like that. And I shouldn't. I shouldn't. Lucindo should be the better fighter here. She should be able to get the takedown and she should be able to win the fight. But Carolina is tempting me slightly. So right now, I'm not playing this fight on any of my tickets, but I'll be watching this and I'm interested what you think. What do you think?
I like the distance, and it's actually it's priced at minus 150, which is quite good for a women's fight. They're trying to say that Lucindo's going to finish. I know Lucindo finished her last fight, but was she playing with Brogan Walker? And the last time she fought a striker, she wasn't able to. That fight wasn't finished either. So I like the over at minus 150. It's not as juiced as I thought it would be. The Carolina decision is plus 500. That's not bad. And the Lucindo decision is plus 125. So again, I might put one of my patented three-way plays here. Fight goes the distance is my main play, and then a little sprinkle on both decision props. Because I have a feeling that this doesn't go the whole way. Carolina's shown at least good defense and Lucindo's shown that unlike Barbosa, she doesn't quite always go for it when she's got people in a favorable position. So play those two things in your favor, and maybe this does go the distance. I don't particularly like betting fights to go the distance, but yeah, I think this one pulls it off.
All right. Moving on, we got Jack Shore plus 140 versus Joe Anderson Brito minus 170. Brito is the much more dangerous fighter. If he wins fights, or when he wins fights, they're by finish. He can knock you out. He can submit you. Jack Shore, more of a grinder. He's going to look to take him down and grind him out. He's not going to want to stand and bang with him. He's not going to want to find himself on the bottom. Like he's going to want to be on top and grind this one out. Uh, so Brito minus 170. I see here to knockout is plus 250, submission plus 33, 333, sorry. Uh, it's tough because I don't know if he'll knock him out. I don't know if he'll submit him. I do think he'll win the fight. I, I like even honestly under 2.5 and it covers both sides. You're getting minus 150, which is already better than his money line. I don't think he's getting finished though, so it's kind of dumb to a certain degree because I don't think Jack Shore is finishing Joe Anderson Brito. I like Brito inside the distance. I'll just say that. I like Brito inside the distance. What do you think?
Brito inside the distance is one of mine. I like plus 110. That's not too bad. And then something is coming down at me. Brito KO. The take the KO plus 250. Cause if Jack Shore wants to make this a striking match, he probably gets knocked out. The only thing that's holding me back, is Jack Shore wants to shoot a takedown or something like that, and Brito pulls one of his patented guillotines, and then there's your sub finish, right? So I don't know. This one's a little bit touchy. I might just take the minus 170 because I like the Brito side of these things. I don't think Shore is going to be able to. I mean, he can try to take him down. I mean, that Jonathan Pierce was winning until he wasn't winning against Burrito. So I mean, the blueprint is there. I just don't find Jack as strong as Jonathan Pierce, right? He doesn't look like he's as strong. I mean, he got pretty much dominated by Makwan in his last fight, that first round, right? Like just dominated. So if Burrito's anything, he's pretty strong. Takedown defense needs a little bit of work, but I think he should win the moments here.
Yep. All right, moving on. We've got Paul Craig coming in at plus 450 versus Caio Borralho, who's now a minus 600. Those odds are disgusting. I do think Borralho wins. I mean, Paul Craig is always live for a Hail Mary submission, always. But he should not be submitting Caio Borralho, a big Brazilian, knows the ground game very well. Like, he should not get caught. I know that he caught Andre Muniz, and he shouldn't get caught either, but that was a a case of him being completely gassed out. Kyle Borralho should be very safe here. And Paul Craig, generally, when he loses, it's generally by finish. So I like Borralho inside the distance, brings a minus 600 to a minus 145. I think that's about as good as you can get here. Yeah, Borralho inside the distance, minus 145. What do you think?
I like the inside the distance. The only thing is I don't think either one of them is subbing each other, right? So to cover the actual other side of the possibilities, I have Kai double chance KO and decision at minus 160. I don't think this takes place on the ground. I don't think Kyle will take him down. And when he does, I don't think he's going to try to engage some sort of submission game, right? And at the same time, I just don't see Paul Craig submitting Kyle. So I think the submissions are off the table. So the KO decision's on the table because, well, I think this is, if Kyle's smart, he's going to stand up with him. And that's it. I just don't want to go full decision because, like, Paul Craig's known to get dropped by some of the worst punchers I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, so I like the KO decision rather than the KO sub inside the
Eh,
distance.
Hey, it makes perfect sense. Paul Craig has been sub too, though, but what you're saying absolutely makes sense for sure.
Kyle's a
Moving on, we
so
got
Kyle on the one note. Kyle's more of a safer guy than some of those guys that would ever get.
oh,
Kyle never like,
he's had some extremely boring fights.
right, so he doesn't really take chances. So I'm playing into that narrative that he doesn't take chances, right? So if the KO comes, he'll take it. I don't think he's gonna push anything, right? Because that's just not the type of fighter that he is, right? So
Yep, yeah, you're 100% right. Moving on, we got Michel Pereira minus 600 versus Ihor Potieria plus 450. Pereira is on an absolute heater. Since moving up to middleweight, he's become a finisher. And Ihor is a dangerous guy in his own right. Like he can knock you out, but if he can't knock you out, he gets finished. And I don't think he's going to knock Pereira out, which means I think he gets finished. So I like Michel Pereira inside the distance. Most likely a knockout, to be honest. Maybe he slaps on a choke, a club and sub, but I think he knocks him out. I think he finishes him fairly quickly, probably under 1.5, 2.5, whatever. Inside the distance, Michel Pereira. What do you think?
inside the distance, Michelle Pereira is what I have written down. I got the KO right on top of it as a the lean of whatever will finish that's gonna happen. But yeah, man. I mean, if you're gonna put some big money down, I don't see it like fuck, man. This is one of those ones where like I think the minus 600 is absolutely warranted on this guy, right? Like for any intents and purposes, he should be 10-0 in the UFC, and we can be like he could be in title contention at this point if
He should be. He needs to
correct.
step up in competition.
Right. So, fuck, man. Yeah. Minus 600, like, if I had $6,000, this would be the fight to put it on, right? Because that's how strongly I feel that he's got Ihor. And that's not that Ihor sucks. He's not the greatest, but, like, this is, like, levels to this shit, right? This is what they say, right? So, let's
Yep.
go. I think
All
it's
right.
all day.
I agree 100%. Moving on, we got Anthony Smith plus 400 versus Vitor Petrino, who's now a minus 550. That's crazy. If you watched our last video, you already saw me rant on it. I think Anthony Smith is washed. He's done. He's gun shy. He's scared. He does not want to strike at all. Vitor Petrino is not the most technical. He's not the most volume. He's usually looping hooks. So Smith should be good enough to kind of shell up and take those. But Petrino should also be able to slam him to the mat whenever he wants and beat him up like that. Um, does he finish him? I don't know. It all depends on his output because last fight he was pretty low output, pretty boring to be honest. But either way, I think Petrino's very safe. I don't want to risk betting a finish and then he doesn't get it and I don't know. Like Petrino wins the fight. I just don't love any of the props here. What do you think?
I love the props on this one, buddy. Like, the over 1.5 is minus 160. Petrino, all but one fight, has gone over 1.5. It's only that Modestas Bilkauskas fight, which actually went into the second round, and he finished him about a minute in, and that was it. So other than that, he's been over the 1.5. He's been over the 2.5 on the majority of his fights too. I mean, obviously that's a little bit more, dicey, but like the 2.5 being at plus 130, the distance being at plus 175. The way Petrino fights, that's it. And then, like, aside from being punched in the third round by Khalil Roundtree, that fight was all well on its way I'm talking about Anthony Smith here. Well on its way to going the distance. This guy's been the distance with Ryan fucking Spann. He's been the distance with Johnny fucking Walker, right? So like, it's it's Smith kind of shells up and protects himself and doesn't go for it and fights slow. And Petrino, low volume, likes to use his ground game. And when he gets on the bottom, he's not fighting subs and shit. And I honestly don't think he subs Anthony Smith on the ground, to be honest with
No,
you, right? So I
definitely not.
think Anthony Smith is smart enough to stay safe, right? So this all points and Petrino's Anthony Smith, for his dumb and his washed and whatever he is, he's been fighting lately. He doesn't engage in these firefights, right? So Petrino, the only time he's been to not the distance ish is against the Bukowskis fight. That's one. That's the outlier. But it's two against Roberto Bellato, where he engaged in firefights both times, right? I don't think he has a willing partner here. So this is why I like all the overs in this fight for sure. The 1.5, I'm gonna slam, right? But the other ones, I don't know. Petrino plus 225 by decision. Oh, that's really nice to get on a 550 or whatever he is now. So, I mean, I like the overs. I just don't think Anthony Smith is a willing dance partner to get into some sort of firefight. And Petrino, as young as he is, I think he's smart enough to, he can employ the ground game. I think he can, and I think he does, because that's what he's been doing for his last few fights. Ever since the Bukowskis finish, he's been employing that ground game a lot. 7 takedowns, multiple takedowns every fight. So he likes to slow things down. So yeah. Minus 1.5 though. Everyone listening, the minus 1.5 is nice. That's hitting it at 80% rate. So sorry, I mean the
Thanks.
over 1.5. Sorry, the over
I,
1.5.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you
Hey,
know
you
that's what I
convinced
mean.
me. You've
Yeah.
convinced me on that one. It's good. That's a good find.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The co-main event, we got Jonathan Martinez minus 138 versus the King of Rio, Jose Aldo plus 110. To me, this is the best value on the card is Jonathan Martinez. I don't think Jose Aldo has it at all anymore, and I love the guy, so I am not going to stand here and shit on him and disrespect him. I just don't think he wins this fight. I don't even think he beat Jeremy Stevens in that fucking celebrity boxing match. I thought he lost that fight too. I just don't see it. I think he's I don't want to say he's old because his age actually isn't that terrible, but he just hasn't been himself for years. I think Jonathan Martinez will win this fight everywhere it goes. I think he's going to outstrike him. Jose Aldo's problem will be the volume. He never has enough volume. So I'm big on Jonathan Martinez here. I think the value is fantastic. I don't think you're going to get someone at minus 138 who I think should be a big favorite. Personally, that's what I think. I'm going to throw a few $100 on him for sure. That's all I got. I like his money line. It's good enough for me. What do you think?
I like the distance here. I don't think Jonathan Martinez is finishing Jose Aldo. And on the distance, fuck man. The King of Rio in Rio, and I can't stop.
Wait, what? A
I
dirty
can't
rub?
stop thinking of a shitty decision in the face of Jose Aldo. It's in my mind. It's something saying like it's. I know you're on Martinez, and I get it. I'll probably have a Martinez ticket too, but I don't know, man. There's something telling me that the Jose Aldo in Rio and these corrupt Brazilian judges have something to do with the shit, and I know it, and it's happened before to me, and that's the issue, right? So I might
So
steer.
I thought. Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
I might steer clear of this because I'm scared. I'm scared of these judges, man. I'm scared of these judges. Like, I'm not scared of this fight. The only thing is, like, Martinez is a big leg kicker, right? Jose Aldo is a big leg kicker, right? Martinez's boxing isn't up to snuff, in my opinion. So he's got to employ a little bit more boxing than usual because the leg kicks aren't going to work here because you're leg kicking a leg kicker who knows what leg kicks are like. He's not going to stand there like Adrian Yanez, like an idiot, and eat these leg kicks. So he's going to have to employ something else. So he is younger. I'm putting a little bit more stock into that. Uh,
Volume alone.
pardon me, volume alone. It could be volume alone. It could be, but then the fucking Rob Font fight comes to mind, right? And Martinez is signed to Chinny too. He got knocked down by fucking Davy Grant and knocked down by that other guy. So fuck. It's a tough fight for me to. I can't. I'm sort of fucking on both sides of this fight, man. So
So
let me know.
UFC is kind of famous, just like boxing, for the dirty rubs. So like I get what you're saying, but the thing is, when you see those dirty rubs, it's for fighters that the UFC is pushing, for fighters that the UFC wants to win, they actually do not want Jose Aldo to win this fight. I think they gave him a shitty matchup here on purpose. One where it's like if he wins, he's supposed to win. If he loses, it looks bad. I think they did it on purpose because this is Jose Aldo's last fight of his contract. He's not here to make another run. He's not here for a payday. He's not here for anything. He wants to get out of his contract so that he can go box. His manager has already said this. He wants another boxing fight. So this is his last fight, and it's a lose-lose situation. If he wins, he beat Jonathan Martinez. Who the fuck cares? And if he loses, it looks really bad. So this is one of those fights where I don't think he'll get that weird rub, because usually those weird rubs go to the fighters the UFC wants to win, and I don't think they really want Jose Aldo to win here. That's just me thinking. Maybe I got a fucking tin hat on. I don't know, but I just think that I think this is not meant to be for Jose Aldo.
I am sure of the decision, though. I am sure of the distance and the over 2.5s and the overs and stuff like that. I do feel you on that part of this whole fight. I don't see him knocking out Jose Aldo. Aldo's been stopped by like the creme de la creme of the
All the
division.
way.
All the way twice, and Conor McGregor, and that's pretty much it, right? So that's the creme de la creme. And for as much as you like Martinez, I can't throw him in the creme de la creme of the division, not at
Yeah.
yet. So like, and that was boxing that got him, and it wasn't leg kicks, right? I just haven't seen enough out of the boxing. The volume might be there though. You might be right. I'm not. There's nothing discounting volume here. I mean, this is going to be the most talked about fight of the whole card, I think, to be honest with you, because it's like it's good. Everybody's heart has Jose Aldo. You know that guy, right? And looking at him being only 37 years old, I thought he was way older, to be honest with you. So, but like, yeah, I can see it from both sides. So you made good points, though. We'll see. The odds are the Martinez to win. I mean, I think everyone's just betting it down because Jose Aldo is on the other side, right? So it makes sense that the line's tightening up.
All right, moving on to the main event. We have the champion, Alexander Pantoja, coming in at minus 188 versus Steven Erceg plus 162. I smashed Erceg when he was plus 275. Literally a week, 2 weeks ago, he was close to plus 300. I spotted it out in the futures section. I bet it early. I'm big on Erceg, and I've made a lot of money on Pantoja. So this is not me talking shit on Pantoja. Pantoja is great. I just think he's been in too many firefights, walking through the fire too much. He's been like just squeaking by in these close decisions, in these moments where he looks gassed and his chin just holds up, whatever. Like I just don't know how much longer that can go on. I know Erceg's not exactly some huge power puncher. I know he knocked out Schnell, which looked sick, but that's Matt Schnell. But a lot of people also think that Pantoja is going to be able to backpack him and out grapple him or whatever. Steven Erceg is a hell of a grappler. I don't think people realize Steven Erceg is a very good grappler. So I have no fear of Erceg getting submitted. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I like Erceg everywhere the fight goes. I seriously think he's fine anywhere the fight goes. And I don't need a prop because he's already plus money. So I've smashed him early. I get it. Now that the odds are tightening, if you're on the Pantoja side, maybe wait even longer. I think the line's going to close even more. I think a lot of people are jumping on the Erceg train. So if you're on Pantoja, wait till right before the fight. I think it's going to get even better odds. But if you're on the Erceg side, you might have missed your boat, or get on it now because I think it's going to tighten up even more. But I'm on Erceg, as I said. What do you think?
Disclaimer: I don't think Erceg doesn't have a chance. The intangibles aren't there for me to like go crazy on him because like I mean strength of schedule, who's done it for longer, has he ever faced a grappler like Pantoja? The striking I think is pretty close. But I did find four spots that I really like. So everyone's all about someone's gonna finish. I don't. Pantoja's only losses are decisions. Erceg's only losses are decision. So yeah, this fight in my eyes has no chance to finish in my eyes. So I got the over 4.5 at plus 105. I got the go to decision at plus 125. I'm gonna take both guys by decision. Pantoja being plus 240, Erceg being plus 500. That's four bets. If it goes over, if it goes to decision, I hit two out of the four already. And whoever gets it, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna make money on this, right? So once it hits over 4.5 to 5, and then I hit three out of four bets, regardless of how I want to put it on there. Like that's how I'm gonna play this fight. That's how I feel like it's safer, even though I do believe in Erceg. I also believe in Pantoja, but I also believe in their chins and their durability. And I'm going to believe in their chins and durability, and that's what's gonna make me the money on this fight. I believe in all the overs here. Neither one of these guys usually get finished. And yeah, that's where I'm going with this fight.
I mean, if you're looking at the stats, it 100% makes sense. I'm just worried that Pantoja's wars are going to catch up to him, but they haven't yet, so there's no reason to that. Yeah, you're right. Everything points to what you're saying. What you're saying makes 1,000,000% sense. So we'll see what happens. I actually look forward to this fight. I think a lot of people are going, "What the hell kind of main event is this?" I think it's a pretty good fight.
The odds on this main event are pretty damn good. And whatever side you lean, there's easy hedgeability on this main event. If you want to hedge it with the overs, you want to hedge it with the other guy. There's so much to do with this particular fight, right? Like you can have a losing card all the way to this fight and still make bank on this fight, whichever way you want to attack it. That's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna lay low for most of this card, and I'm gonna go. I really like the overs here. I mean, if you ask me what my biggest plays are on the freaking card, it's the Kyle Borralho double chance, the Vitor Petrino over 1.5, and everything to do with this fucking main event. So that's where I like. I don't really care too much for the prelims and shit, man. I'm gonna
Yeah.
sprinkle some parlays here and hope for the best here and that shit. So that's the way I'm attacking.
I agree 100%. It's not one of these cards where I'm going to bet every fight. It's not. It's just not one of those cards. As I posted in the last video, if you didn't see it, one of my favorite plays, I should have went bigger on it personally, and maybe I still will, but I know the odds have tightened, was the Erceg and Martinez parlay. Put $92 for 500. I think that's great value. So I really like that one. Like I said, the odds have changed, so I don't even know what that would pay right now. But I might hit that even more. I might double down, triple down on that one. Other than that, like you said, only a couple spots. I wouldn't go crazy on this card. Uh, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. All right, guys, there you have it. Please like, please subscribe, drop us a comment. Let us know your favorite prop, your favorite bet, if there's something we missed. I love hearing oddball fucking shot. You found a Barbosa by knockout, whatever. If you have some crazy ass odds that you found, let me know them, let me hear them. And let's hope we all smash and make some money, and we'll see you for the next one. Have a good one.